Put your eyes back in your head.
I felt like flavor.
What me do?
Pry their eyes open and force them to see the truth. We will skin the sheep and sacrifice the weak. The unholy alliance has arrived.
What's happening? What's happening? What's going on? Great afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well as we wind down another year. I think today is an ideal time to have a State of the Truth address. And one of the main thing I'm going to focus on, I'm just going to focus on a little history when it comes to the coaching situation here with your Atlanta Falcons. Make sure y'all hit the buttons, man. Everybody on Six Man K Live and Mad Mike Podcast along with Truth with a 2 TV. Make sure y'all hit them buttons. Got 5 people in here now. What's up to everybody? I'm not gonna go too much into last night's game. I'm gonna leave that for the crew at 6 o'clock. They got a real special show lined up for you guys. But I just want to, kind of cover something, just a little bit. Right now it's a big old stink going on about Raheem Morris because he's taking a lot of heat because of the state of the Falcons. And there's a good portion of the fan base who feels like he's being unfairly targeted by the other portion of the fan base. And I mean, it's all about how you view it. There's a lot of fans right now that they calling for bruh's head. They want him relieved of his duties. And whatever reason you want him to be relieved of your duties, 9 times out of 10, you got a legitimate reason to be there. But, I'm hearing a lot of fans saying, you gave this guy a chance, you gave that guy a chance, get a brother a chance. We shouldn't go after this guy because X, Y, and Z, and we shouldn't, Let's go back to when Arthur Blank took over as owner of the Atlanta Falcons. The technical move to become owner happened back in 2002. It was almost like a 7 to 8 year process, give or take a year or two. I could be a year or two off, for him to get it done. Now, as a footnote, and we're going to call it what it is, if Arthur Blank don't take over as owner of the Falcons, this city may not even have a football team because we were damn near close to being the Jacksonville Falcons. Jacksonville in the early 90s, they were thirsting for a franchise, and the prior ownership, the Smith family, Rankin then Taylor, they were ready to be done with the Falcons. All right. Arthur Blank stepped out there and agreed in principle, to buy the team. Now, it took a few years for the deal to actually go through. Now, once Arthur Blank agreed to buy the team, the city of Jacksonville backed off. Mike, what's going on? Maggie, hey, my love. Jacksonville backed off, and they said, fuck it, we're just going to get an expansion team. NFL approved it. Jaguars were born in 94 and 95. When Arthur Blank took over as an owner of the Falcons were arguably one of the worst franchises. Clay, what's going on in all of sports? All of sports. Last night's game made Arthur Blank, I think, 181 and 179 as the owner of the Falcons. This team, in its 60-plus year history, not 60 plus, shit, I'm 55. Yeah, right at 60-year history, it's almost 200 games under 500. So that tells you how bad the prior ownership was for your Atlanta Falcons. All right, but when he took over, the head football coach was Dan Reeves, one of the most well-respected guys, player and coach-wise, in the history of the NFL. All right. Dan Reeves, they got us to our first Super Bowl. We didn't close it out. Arthur Blank's first year in 2002, we went to the playoffs. That's where Michael Vick and the crew went up to Green Bay, beat them for the first time in their house in the playoffs. Nobody else had done it. We did it. At the end of the 2003 season, or somewhere during the 2003 season, Arthur Blank relieved Dan Reeves of his duties. And in 2004, we brought in Jim Mora Jr. Jim Mora Jr. was one of two coaches that coached with us that only served 3 years. He served 2004, 2005, 2006. I think everybody know what went down in 2006. He saw an opportunity. Jeremy, what's going on? He saw an opportunity to go. Pam, what's going on? To go coach college football. Or I think he was an analyst for a while, then he went to coach college football, or vice versa. All right. The Vic situation was overwhelming. They mutually agreed to part ways, so he only did 3 years. All right. His first year here, we made the NFC Championship run. We lost to the Eagles after beating the Rams in the divisional playoff. Then came Mike Smith. Mike Smith is the longest tenured head coach for the Falcons. He's the longest tenured head coach. He came in. In between Mora and Smith, we had that train wreck with Bobby Petrino, where he basically quit on us in the middle of the night. We played a Monday night game here in Atlanta. I forgot how that game went. I think we may have lost it. Next morning, he was saying Woo Pig Sooie. He was the Arkansas Razorback head coach. And right now, currently, he's their offensive coordinator after going to a few more stops. Then Mike Smith came in. Mike Smith came in 2008 through 2014. And that's probably our most, not probably, it is our most successful run. Anthony White was going on, Southside was going on. Okay. Then Dan Quinn came in 2015. And he gave us 5 years, 5 to 6 years. I think he was relieved of his duties in year 6. And we know what Dan Quinn did. The second year in, we made the Super Bowl run. We all know what happened in that Super Bowl. Ain't no reason to revisit that at all. Yeah. Petrino is a sack of shit. HS, H5. Then we relieved, not only when we relieved Dan Quinn, we relieved Thomas Dimitroff as the GM, and we brought in Terry Fontenot, and his first head coach hire, or the first head coach hire under his regime, was Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is the second guy who coached 3 years. He coached 21, 22, and 23. So the 2 shortest tenured head coaches for Arthur Blank was the aforementioned Jim Mora Jr. and Arthur Smith. Now we have Raheem Morris. Now, one of the reasons Arthur Smith was relieved of his duties, probably the main reason is because he made a lot of mistakes in game management, and he mishandled the quarterback position. Under his tenure, we moved on from Matt Ryan, and then it became a turnstile of quarterbacks. We had Matt Ryan, and then you had Marcus Mariota. He didn't work, and then we tried to make it work with Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke, and ultimately Arthur Smith was relieved of his duties. Now we here with Raheem Morris. When Raheem Morris took over the job, he was basically handed everything damn near on a silver platter. All right. We went out there, we signed Kirk Cousins. 4 years, 180, but I think we all knew that he wasn't going to do 4 years. The 80 million pretty much was a mask, a smoke screen. He wasn't going to get, well, even if he still started, he wasn't going to get 180. He was going to get that 100 guaranteed, and he's still going to get it. And then we was going to go ahead on and move towards Michael Penix, who we drafted this year with pick number 8. So for the first time in years, we was actually at least 4 to 5 years we were set at quarterback, because I mean you had a steady guy who at the quarterback position for 14 to 15 years. Matt Ryan missed a total of 3 games during his tenure. And a lot of us are trying to tell a lot of these what's happening, what's going on. Was trying to tell a lot of people in the fan base, hey, be careful what you wish for. Because a lot of people wanted Matt Ryan gone for various reasons. I'm going to keep it clean and say, he had started to decline. He started to decline. And that's just father time caught up with him. And he was basically out of gas. He was basically out of gas. And we moved him on to Indianapolis. So Raheem Morris took over the team where, from a cap standpoint, we're in the black. Terry Fontenot got us out the red. And I don't think nobody could, you can't find a GM that could do a job like he did getting us out of the red. We were so far in the fucking red with there was a lot of bad contracts. There were contracts that turned bad. And we had a lot of dead money tied up in 2 guys. And that's Matt and Julio. We got all that off the books. Once we got all that off the books, we had a whole lot of shitload of money to start bringing in guys in the last couple years. You got Jesse Bates, you got Simmons, you got Judon, you got Onyemata, you got Ellis, you got we was able to re-up Terrell. We was able to I think we gave Grady some more money. We gave Jake Matthews some more money. We was able to fill a lot of holes, and basically the roster, minus a few injuries, what's happening there, Jerome? Yeah, oh yeah, MD in the house, big dog, MD in the house. The roster was set. A lot of people were saying we had a Super Bowl roster, and it wasn't wrong to say that. But I was trying to tell fans, hold on, temper your expectations. Let's just try to win the first game, which we did. We lost to Pittsburgh, and then after we won the first game, let's try to get to the playoffs. So here's where we are right now. So it's a lot of things that went on this year under Raheem Morris's tenure. And I'm going to go back to Arthur Smith, okay? We can't allow Raheem Morris to do what we fired Arthur Smith for and use as the excuse, because right now it's becoming an excuse that we gave him the opportunity. No, it doesn't. It don't work like that when you, quote unquote, supposedly have a roster that can make a Super Bowl run. We were told that we were going to outrun the South, according to Raheem Morris. Right now, it look like our legs and got took off up under us, and it's all on us. A lot of shit's going on this year. Kirk Cousins hit a rough patch, and the patch became so rough the way he wound up getting replaced as the quarterback. There are rumors that he may have gotten hurt late in the Dallas game or early in the Saints game. I don't know the validity of that or how true it is, but it kind of lines up with his play. All right. I think he only had one tutty and maybe 9 or 10 interceptions. That's unacceptable. Can't keep running him out there when he's turning the fucking football over. It's just that simple. And I get it. You know, the quarterback position is probably the most scrutinized position in all of sports. It is not a position that's even close in all of sports that's more scrutinized than the quarterback position in football, most notably NFL football. Whenever I see any of my teams fall short of what they're supposed to do, I immediately look to the sidelines or the bench or the dugout. That's what I look to first. I need to know what that person is doing to make a difference. I'm not glossing over bad quarterback play or bad play from anybody, but I'm always look over there to the bench. I'm still waiting on Raheem Morris to make a difference in a game. We're going into week 17 next week, and we should beat the Panthers. And 9-8 is a 2-game better difference than we had under Arthur Smith. He gave us 3 years of 7-10. But unless Tampa Bay catch some food poisoning or some shit happened before the game where the Buccaneers start talking shit to the Saints and they get mad and they decide they want to go out there and play and try to beat them, we're not going to the playoffs unless something crazy happens. So now let's go back to Raheem Morris. I've heard everything from, let's go back to Jim Moore. Gave Moore a chance. Well, Moore, his first year, made an NFC championship game run. I'm going to say it again. Moore's first year, he made an NFC championship run. So when you got a guy to come in and in his first year, he make an NFC championship run, you're going to kind of be a little lenient on him. All right. But again, along with Arthur Smith, they are the shortest tenured head coaches up under Raheem Morris. Excuse me, not Raheem Morris, Arthur Blank. Then you go to Mike Smith, of course. Nobody's mentioned him. I heard somebody mention Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn went 8-8 his first year. But we had just come off of 3 bad years. 2013, 2 bad years. 2013, 2014. And then it's 2015. So we was really coming towards the end of a second rebuild. The first rebuild happened when Smitty took over. So here's the second rebuild. All right. We drafted kind of good. All right. We had an 8-8 season. Could have been better. So Arthur Blank decided, hey, we're going to run it back. All right. Running it back with Quinn paid immediate paid early dividends. You had a Super Bowl run. Then after the Super Bowl run, you had a playoff run where we beat the Rams and then lost to Philly. Philly done sent us home 3 times in the playoffs. And then things started fizzling, 2018, we had a decent year offensively. We sucked defensively. We went 7-9. 2019 probably was it got started getting progressively worse. And then during the 2020 season, we relieved Dan Quinn of his duties, and the interim head coach was Rodney Brown was going on was Raheem Morris. Raheem at that time had the opportunity to show that he's ready to be a head coach. We decided not to go with him, and that's when we came with Arthur Smith. And then Arthur Smith took over, and when Arthur Smith took over, it was a complete fucking train wreck, and that's to say the least. All right. We had to sign over 40 guys off the street, like just regular folks, plumbers, barbers, truck drivers, delivery drivers, post office workers. We signed a lot of guys off the street who just had a pair of fucking cleats, and we wound up keeping damn near half of them, either on the 53-man roster or the practice squad. And again, our cap situation was unbelievable. So of course you're going to give that coach somewhat of a grace because he came into basically a shit show. I mean, it's just common sense. Now people are saying that Raheem Morris is being treated wrong because we're being impatient with him. Aren't we supposed to be impatient with him? How we're supposed to be cool with what's going on is mind-blowing. I get it. This is the city of Atlanta. And it's all about the culture. Culture. It's all about culture. You got a pretty black city. So a lot of black fans in Atlanta, they want to see a lot of color. You want to see a black quarterback, you want to see a black coach. We got a black GM. All right. Hey, I get it. So now we're not supposed to be critical of him because that's what's being presented to us. What's being presented to us is we're not supposed to be. Make sure y'all hit the buttons. Everybody, make sure y'all hit them buttons. Like, share, subscribe. On Truth TV, 6Man K Live, and Mad Mike Podcast. Man OG Truth with 2 Hertz with a Z. So now, right now, it's just it's a tug of war right now within the fan base. It's a tug of war. So let's go back to when we hired the hiring process of Raheem Morris. We won't call it what it is. He wasn't even on the short list with nobody. Can't nobody say they had him on the short list. the majority of the fans was screaming the same guys. It was for me. It was Belichick, Jerry Gray. Oh, by the way, he's black. Didn't know much about the Ben Johnson guy. Of course, a lot of people had Harbaugh. I was kind of skeptical about Harbaugh because he got too much baggage from his prior time coaching in the league, along with how he left Michigan. So the main issue. Is with Bill Belichick. You got a lot of fans who feel as if though Bill Belichick is too old. His time has passed him, and he really ain't done nothing without pretty much a lot of people saying Brady made him. Let me educate you brothers and sisters on something out there. How can he not make Brady? It's completely mind blowing. Mind blowing. Brady. If y'all ever heard of the Brady Six, if you haven't heard of it, it's a documentary about 6 guys who got drafted before Tom Brady. Tom Brady got drafted in the 6th round. Nobody believed in Tom Brady, but Bill Belichick. If New England don't draft Tom Brady, he would have went undrafted. I'm not saying he wouldn't have been an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he wouldn't have been viewed 25 years later as the greatest of all time. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying right now is if New England don't draft him when they drafted him, he probably wouldn't have made it. He didn't even really start. He wasn't the primary guy. If my memory serves me correctly, Clay, what's going on? If my memory serves me correctly, Tom Brady wasn't even the guy at Michigan. That was Drew Henson, a former baseball player. Go figure. So now people are saying, well, if Brady didn't make him, then what did he do before Brady? Okay, as a head coach, his first head coaching gig was with the Cleveland Browns, and he sucked at Cleveland. But go and look at Cleveland's history. Go and look at Cleveland's history the last 40 years. Name me a head coach that succeeded in Cleveland. I'll wait. That franchise probably been through worse times than us. At least we've seen 2 Super Bowls. They haven't even seen any Super Bowls. I think they don't seen like 1 or 2 championship games. And that was his first head coaching job. He learned from his mistakes there, and he took over New England. But I'm going to go back to even before him. Y'all do know that he was the defensive coordinator for arguably the greatest linebacking core in the history of the league. The late 80s, early 90s New York Giants. And arguably the greatest defensive player of all time, not named Deion Sanders. A lot of people view Deion Sanders as an all-time great, and you're not wrong for thinking that way. But in my opinion, the greatest defensive player of all time is Lawrence Taylor, and I think the greatest football player of all time is Deion Sanders. And the greatest offensive player of all time, it could be Tom Brady. So here you got a guy who had his hands on the greatest defensive player of all time and the greatest offensive player of all time. And I'm being told that he did not make neither because he didn't win much before and didn't win much after. Okay, let's call it for what it is with Brady when he left. When Brady left, he got plugged into the ideal situation in Tampa. All they needed was a competent quarterback, even though he was old. All they needed was a competent quarterback that wasn't going to fuck it up. And that's what happened. He went in there, he did his job, he didn't fuck it up. In fact, he didn't even play great. He played okay, but he didn't screw it up. They got a ring with him. He wound up retiring a couple of years later. Now he gone. New England, on the other hand, went into a full rebuild. I think. I mean, you if you don't know that New England went into a rebuild, I don't know what to tell you. So getting back to us Falcon fans, a lot of us Falcon fans feel like we don't need to go after Belichick. We don't need to go after Belichick because Brady made him. How asinine is that? How unbelievably crazy is that? I'm just
Coming in.
I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it.
You gotta go in.
The best option for this team, a ready-made team, should have been a ready-made coach. Now, when I say ready-made, I'm not saying Raheem Morris is just that inexperienced because he has been coached in 3 Super Bowls. Coached with Tampa, got a ring as a young assistant. He coached with us. That was February 5th, 2017. We don't want to revisit. Then a couple of years later, he coached with the Rams, and he got a ring. And you would think just that experience alone as a head coach, you would think just that experience alone as a head coach, that he would have learned certain things when it comes to managing a football game. Bottom line, people, is Raheem Morris has failed. Albeit his first year, he's failed as a head coach. Again, I will say it again. I ain't disregarding what done happened on the field. But it's a lot of decision, a lot of decision making that happened or has happened that he could have, had he handled it better, we would be in a better position as a football team. I can go back to the Kansas City game. The play calling at the end of that game was atrocious. And no, he's not the play caller, but he is the head coach that can overrule the play caller. I can go to the San Diego game, or I still call him San Diego, the LA Charger game, where it was I'm not taking away, it was Cousins' worst game by far. That was the 4-pick game, all right. But even in the 4-pick game, you look at certain decisions that went on in that game. We're running a jet sweep on 3rd and 1 twice. I'm still not recovered from that. And then last night, again, I'm gonna let the guys go all the way in depth in that. But a lot of people saw certain things that went on last night. Clock management. I mean, he literally in front of the whole world made an idiot of himself. And the sad thing about it is, instead of owning up to it, what he do? He's indirectly throwing his players under the bus. I think we all heard. If you haven't heard his press conference, you got to do a listen to. when asked about why he didn't use his timeouts, instead of him just saying, maybe I should have used the timeout, he gonna say it's easy to. He pretty much saying it's easy to criticize something after the fact. That's what he's said in so many words, and said maybe we could have got to the line of scrimmage a little quicker. That's true. That sounds like you sound like you're throwing your quarterback up under the bus. Your rookie quarterback. We got time against us, and we got 2nd and goal, and we're trying to score to tie the football game, and we're hoping we can get off the field to have enough time to win the football game. And we run a direct snap to Bijan. Are we kidding? Are we kidding right here? A wildcat. I hadn't seen it all year before last night. And disaster hit. And Bijan actually saved us on that. If that ball is scooped up, the game would have been over anyway. So, okay, we get down and we score. Now we get off the field. But we don't. But we got off the field. Once we got off the field, we didn't have enough time. The field goal kicker could have. The field goal kicker, we could have got a little closer. And we could have kicked the field goal and won the football game. And so when I hear the excuses that's being made, I'm mind blown. I'm mind blown. We should have won that football game last night. Now we're sitting in a position to where we need help from the New Orleans Saints. I mean, can somebody make sense of that? And make sure y'all hit them buttons, man. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe to Truth TV. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Mad Mike Podcast. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to 6-Man K Styles TV. I told the crew that I was going to kind of break it down without being volatile. You know, because we did a whole lot of hollering and screaming, and folks been cussing each other out, and all this stuff there. So I said I was going to break it down without being volatile. We right now look like you know it's bad when folks from other teams. I got calls from fans, from Dallas Cowboy fans, and even New Orleans Saints fans, and you know, fans of other teams, like, how your coach fucked that up? How he fucked that up? How? So, at the top of the hour, the guys gonna come on and they're gonna dive off into what happened, and I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna get explosive. It's gonna get explosive because we pissed. I kind of feel like I felt like the feeling I have right now, like we was in the casino. I was in the casino, and I don't want $4,000 gambling. I want to lose it right back. That's how I feel. I feel like that's the empty feeling I got as a fan of the Falcons right now. That's the empty feeling I got as a fan of the Falcons right now. And yes, Raheem Morris deserved to be relieved of his duties. I don't care what happened with other coaches. I don't. Raheem Morris was dealt, again, the perfect hand. And he screwed it up. It's almost like you're playing spades, man. And you fuck up a Boston when you got it right in your hand. That's where we at right now. That's where we at. So now what? Hey, listen, man. Listen. Can't nobody get mad at nobody for ranting right now. That's another thing that's going on. You got fans around here getting mad at other fans because they got a problem with this shit. So you got a right to be ranting. Trust and believe. Trust me, you got a right to be pissed. And it ain't shitting on a black man. That's some of the dumbest shit ever. I done heard all kind of shit. I've been called a coon and all that shit. I've been called a coon for criticizing Raheem Morris. And all I want is that white Bill Belichick. But I'm criticizing a black coach who got a white wife. I'm in amazement on that. Mismanaging games, man, we can't. When it happened against Kansas City, okay. Then when it happened against the Chargers, you said, When we came out of that bye week, we should have ran through that, man. And see, you know what, Curtis? I try not to get into the accepting mediocrity type stuff. Because it's all about how you see it. It's okay to be positive. And and sometimes when folks say accepting mediocrity, you kind of cutting down people who's thinking positive. So I try not to say that. Accepting mediocrity. I try not to go there. I mean, I'm extremely aggravated. When you maybe what's going on, I'm extremely aggravated as a fan, as a longtime fan. And let me tell you something, man. I've been a fan for a long time. I'm a true ATLian. All right. Most people know my story. I'm a 55-year-old man. And yeah, sometimes we get caught up. Sometimes we get caught up. Right the Brown was going on. And sometimes we get caught up in us old cats. Sometimes we get caught up in seeming like we know it all. But let me tell you something about me. I always tell folks, man, I don't know it all. I know enough. Trick 654, what's going on? I don't know it all. I know enough. And how I know enough is Swaziland, what's going on? I tell folks to do what I do. Listen, when we say Google is your friend, I mean it is. Mucho Grande was going on, Aaron Mike was going on. I mean, Google is your friend. It ain't like we got some secret information or something. It's right there for you to see it. So yes, it's okay to call for Raheem Morris's head because this team was set up. Everything was set up for him. All he had to do was not fuck it up. And guess what? He done fucked it up. And I will reiterate again, I'm not disregarding what the play that has went on the field. Okay. So now I am reduced to rooting for the Saints on Sunday. Ghost Peppers up. Corey Gill, what's happening? Jerry Gray's my second choice. I'm reduced to rooting for the Saints. And y'all know good and well the Saints ain't finna help us, man. They literally laid down against the Raiders yesterday. You think they're gonna help us? They're trying to get a top 3 to 5 pick. If they don't get the top pick, think they don't want a little too much to get the top pick. And that's another thing. Like Mucho Grande said, I've been reduced in the last month to rooting for the Cowboys and the fucking Saints. ATLEO, what's going on? That's disheartening as fuck. I got to be paying attention to the Saints Sunday. It's hard being an Atlanta fan, man. It's hard. It's hard. It's so hard. I mean, you know, we deal with and go through so much shit. And I tried to tell a lot of fans, and I'm going to reiterate this. I tried to tell a lot of fans to temper their expectations because folks are just penciling us in the Super Bowl. Gemini, man, what's going on? Make sure y'all hit them buttons. Folks are penciling us in the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, I see 57 people on here, man. Make sure y'all hit them buttons, man. If y'all are, if you a follower of my channel, make sure you hit Mike Bad Mike podcast. Make sure you hit Six Man K-Style Live and all around, so on and so forth. Make sure y'all hit them buttons, man. So what I got to look forward to moving forward, I'm faced with the reality that I got to start looking toward the goddamn draft. Hood J, what's happening? LT, what's going on? Yeah, come on, come on, LT. I'm not gonna run into 6 o'clock, but come on. I was actually looking forward into playing deep into January. I was actually looking forward to seeing a playoff game in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Alien Johnson, what's going on? Okay, LT. Damn it. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let's try to. Oh boy. I'm gonna wait on LT to come in here. We're gonna wrap it up after we get his take. But make sure again, man, make sure y'all hit them buttons, man. The music you hear in the background, it don't belong to me. Run your mouth, LT.
Boy. First of all, how everybody doing? It's been a minute. I don't even know really how to even say this. All I can really say about the situation is we had our destiny in our hands, not one, but you don't hear me, OG?
Okay, I can hear you now.
All right. What I was saying is we had our destiny. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you kind of going in and out.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I know LT down there in the woods, down there Scriven County. But if y'all just listen at us, man, we oh yeah, oh Lord, he went out. We got to come back in. Okay, all right, he's back.
What about now?
Okay, you better.
Okay. I ain't know. Hello?
Yeah, you kind
Oh.
of muffled, bro. I don't know if you need to move to another spot in the car or what, but you kind of muffled.
I thought I was speaking very clear, but let me see.
Now you sound okay now. I don't know what you did, but you sound okay now.
Okay. So what I was about to say though, like what we've had this season is we've had our destiny in our hands twice. We started off the season with the destiny in our hands. We lost it, and then we ultimately came back having the destiny back in our hands again. But in the midst of us doing that, we lost it again last night. Now, I don't know what took place at halftime as far as like what we had going on. Like we literally had a 10-point lead at halftime, pretty much dominating on defense. And then after halftime, we end up playing zone. Like that didn't make sense to me at all. Like at all. So now after we started playing zone, Jaden Daniels starting to get in the rhythm, gashing our defense. Ultimately, they took the lead. We managed to tie the game, and then we end up getting a stop before we had to go to overtime. And instead of you using your timeouts, you kept them, and ultimately you kicked a long distance field goal, which came up short. The accuracy was there. He kicked it right down the middle. It just didn't have enough leg. So I don't know, bro. I don't even know how to feel. I don't want to overreact, but at the same time, it's because to me it's not even overreaction. Like the stuff that we endured with this man this season are fireable offenses. That's just me. So I don't even know how to go about the situation. It's a lot. I just don't, and I don't like the fact that like y'all said earlier, you had to be forced to root for the Dallas Cowboys and now the New Orleans Saints in order for you to make the postseason. That is abysmal. Absolutely abysmal.
I mean, I'm just like, because we went live last night, and I done half slept. I let the Falcons fuck my sleep up, man. I'm like, my little buddy, she like, y'all really take that shit too seriously. And I'm gonna tell you something, bro. It's hurt. Look, man, I don't even want to hear that shit. So right now, I'm a bad guy right now because I bit her fucking head off. Like, I don't want to hear that shit right now. You goddamn right I'm taking it seriously. If you don't want to take it seriously, fuck you and everything you stand for. So now I'm fucking up. I'm fucking up my goddamn love life.
You the doghouse.
Listen, everybody in the chat. I'm just letting the Falcons just fuck me all the way up. So it's crazy. It's crazy. That's like when we lost. Who the last team we lost to? Before the Giants, we lose to before the Giants.
The Vikings.
And I had them laugh, and I was like, and we was where was we at? Was we at the playground? That was at the playground. I told some people in there, and they just busted out, started laughing. I said, I said, man, I don't even be wanting no goddamn text when the Falcons lose. I be mad, man. Like we got a lad to keep crying, y'all. You know what I mean? And real bad. I know it's TMI, but listen.
Shit.
Look, as a fan, we all emotional. We all. I don't think I try to tell folks when you're gonna bring emotions into it and you feel, make sure you bring facts with it. That's it. Just don't go out here and be blurting out and saying crazy shit. I mean, I get it. We all be in our feelings, because we give.
Oh God.
I know it, Mucho. I know it. I know it. I get all that. I get all that. But right then, I want to have a pity party. I know the sisters try to tighten up. To loosen us up, to take our mind off it. But at that time, I just be kind of entrenched in the pity party.
I can't say the same. Mine be clapping.
Look, man. I'm gonna tell you. I probably be in a mental institution if it wasn't for the Braves and the Bulldogs in the last 5 years. I'd probably be in a mental institution right now, fucking with these Falcons and these Hawks. I'm still warming up to the United, but at least the United came in here and got us a title within the first 3 years. And I'm having, and I'm caught up my feelings into the dream as well. I'm just a diehard fan like that. It comes to be, no, Mike. The Hawks are playing fucking great basketball, and I jokingly said something earlier, and the fellas fell the fuck out. I said, right now, I feel better about Trae Young than I do Raheem Morris.
Oh wow!
That's what they said.
Wow.
Hockey should have never left, Mucho. It's a big hockey following here, and each time that they left, went back when they were the Flames, and then later on the Thrashers, the fans were pissed about that. Yeah, I feel better about Trae Young than I do Raheem Morris. And
that is saying something coming from you, though.
That's not good.
Like, if people understand how much you have a disdain for Trae Young,
it's not really a disdain. It's about what it's about. It's on the floor with me. Oh God, Mike, why did you say that? Mike, you trying
what he said?
He said bad with Quinn looking better than Raheem. But see, the thing about it, that goes back to like when I mentioned about Belichick earlier. Belichick learned from his first job. He was stirred fried shit. But it's easy to be that way coaching the Cleveland Browns. Like,
man, a lot of people can make mistakes on their first, head coaching. Their first ever head coaching job. So, and this is why I have a problem with Raheem, because even we watched Dan Quinn last night. You clearly can see where Dan Quinn has made improvements of his last stint.
He's grown. Head coach. He don't look like Captain Catchphrase over there. He look like
right.
This hat to the back thing with him.
Like even I can't lie. Like even watching him when they showed clips of him last night, like his posture don't even look like how he was in Atlanta.
Absolutely not.
Like he was on the field like he meant business.
Now see, Carl, I'm not trying to get like that, Carl, because he's still a human being and it's not personal. But right now he's not. I want him gone. I'm not gonna go as far as say I can't stand him, but I want him gone because he could have made things a little bit better if he had. When is this man gonna take some type of accountability? That's another thing that a lot of fans. That's another issue that a lot of fans got with Raheem, man. And
a lot of our fan base is missing. Because I want people to truly understand. Y'all don't understand the fact that man threw when put like this, when he should have threw Kurt under the bus.
He threw, but he did throw.
Hold on, listen what I'm saying. That's what I'm going with this. When he should have been throwing Kurt under the bus, he stood 10 toes on him. But when the Falcons got on national television on Monday night and looked porous as a team, and we still won, that's when you should have on Kurt.
He shitted on Kurt. Then he benched him. Then less than 3 days later, they came out and said it was gonna cut him.
But then also the news broke came out that he possibly been playing with an injury since the tail end of the Dallas game or the beginning of the Saints game.
So that brings me to this question. I'm glad you brought that up. You wait, if he's playing with an injury since the Dallas game, and right after the Dallas game, that's when the 4th straight happened, right?
And ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to understand, he's the question that he's about to ask y'all. We are going into week 18. Last night was week 17. That Dallas game was week 9. But go ahead.
Explain to me why in the hell you didn't pull the trigger then.
That's been my question.
I'm like, why you didn't pull the trigger then?
Not only that you left Kurt on the field with an injury, you let Koo kick most of the season with an injury.
That's fireable. And Koo lost the game this year. If I heard me correctly, Koo fucked up a game.
The Saints game, ironically. He missed like 3 field goals. But you know what's even more wild? Because I don't even remember Koo even hitting the injury reports like that.
You started hearing.
I heard. You want to know when I first heard Koo being injured? During the Saints game. Like the announcer announced it. And I'm sitting here saying, when I heard that, I said, wait a minute, what he mean Koo kicking with a hip injury?
Why didn't you? Let me tell you something. On every team's practice squad, it's 3 positions you got to have on a practice squad. You know the 3 positions? Quarterback, kicker. You get 10 to 12 guys on the practice squad. 3 of them should be a quarterback, a kicker, and a punter. I mean, think about it, y'all. The kicker's hip is hurting.
On his kicking leg.
On his kicking leg.
Like, what are we doing, bro?
So now I done went from cussing Koo out to cussing out the motherfucker who run them out there. See, it's a lot of things Raheem has done. Listen, and I'm gonna say this for like the 7th time. I'm not disregarding all the other shit that's went on. I'm not disregarding Kirk's 9 picks in them 4 games, but then when you find out that he was playing hurt in them 4 games, you do what you got to do to win the game. It's his job to make sure we win football.
I want people to also understand, even though for the most part Kurt did not play well, the Vikings game he was solid. He didn't start really messing up until we got down, and then he had to take a jab at the media because everybody been on his head, but he was but like when they were trying to say, well, what happened in the game, but he had to let them know, like, hold up. When I last took the field in this game, our offense just tied the game up. The score was 21-21. When I stepped foot back on that field again, the score was 35-21.
They had an issue with him off that. I think that kind of soured them.
But I could understand why he did it because listen, I can own up to if I'm fucking up, but you ain't finna keep putting everything on me when you just seen somebody else do some bullshit, and then you wanna hang your head on Kirk been playing so bad that when one game I didn't play that bad, but it looked worse because I'm trying to mount a comeback after I end up mounting a comeback and tying the game up. And then our defense go out there and gave up a touchdown. Our special teams go out there and turn the ball over. And then our defense give up another touchdown. So when I step back on the field, you looking at me like, well, dang, Kirk, you got us down 2 touchdowns. I ain't been on the field in 30 minutes.
We got 72 people in here, man. Make sure y'all hit. Man, appreciate y'all checking in. Listen, hey, if it makes you feel better, man, if you pissed, if you're feeling some type of way, guess what? We all feeling some type of way right now.
And I'm listen, man. I'm gonna be honest with y'all in the chat. I've been saying that there were problems on this team all year. Even if you saw some of the videos I had, man, might upload like my post game thoughts. I was clearly saying in those videos there were problems that I was seeing, but I wasn't saying much because we were winning. And of course, anybody sees you winning, you get dubbed a hater if you start talking about, well, dang, y'all ain't happy that we winning games. I mean, I'm of course I'm excited that we winning, but I also can see something where, okay, this could possibly become a problem. And if it becomes a problem, you don't. If there's one thing you don't want it to become a problem at the most inopportune time, and that's exactly what happened with the Falcons.
Let me tell you something, and let Travis know I'm a coach. And a lot of times, and I'm strictly baseball. Though a lot of times I tell my baseball players, we may go out, we may go out and we may play a team that we know we're better than, and we beat them. But how we beat them, you know, we out there going through the motion, not playing the game right. We just wind up winning the game because we probably we just more maybe just a little better. Than that. You know, we better than that team. And you tell them, look here, man. We can't keep playing like this. We can't keep doing A, B, and C. If we keep doing A, B, and C, we're gonna fucking lose when we get up against somebody who handles our heat. And that's all a lot of us be saying. You know, when we were seeing shit in wins, okay. Like, let me tell you something. It's certain games where you do what you got to do to win the game. Like that Raider game. At that point, look here, man. You're taking all wins. You do what you got to do to win the game. It ain't gonna be pretty. It ain't gonna be cute. And the Raiders play tough in that building. Yes, they do. They arguably the worst team in the NFL. And I think now here's a case where I think it will be unfair if they fire their coach. Okay, all right. This dude, that quarterback situation been real crazy. There, it's been crazier than ours. How about that?
The boys had Gardner Minshew, Adrian O'Connell, and Desmond Ridder start for them this year. And they ain't got no receiving core at all. Like your best weapon on your offense is literally Brock Bowers. And that goes to show you how special Brock Bowers is.
And Devontae Adams acted like a bitch on him. If you're a Devontae Adams fan, sorry, but he acted like a bitch on him. You never listen, man. You never leave your teammates on the field about them. All right. If I'm in
I agree with you? I do. Here's the only counter to that.
Go ahead.
Like in Devontae Adams' defense, he went to Oakland for the sake of playing with his college teammate or roommate in Derek Carr. And then ultimately they let Derek Carr walk. So that kind of just like he played 1 year with Carr and then it was like, all right, we done. And I think Derek Carr been in Atlanta. I mean, he been in New Orleans, this is second season now? So like that's what I'm saying. So like and that was saying in his defense, as much as I do agree, I do agree with you in so many terms. Like in his defense, like it didn't help none that you literally had Derek Carr in a situation where this, like, I mean, where Devontae Adams in a situation where he came to your team to play with his college roommate and teammate, and then you let that man walk in free agency.
I get it. I, that's a reason to be upset, but on the same token, you still under contract. You still got to show up and do your job. And then once you have the opportunity, once you have the power to move on, you go ahead on and move on. That's just me. But um, we look, man. I just because we're gonna have to get on up out of here because I got to get the guys a chance to get in here and do the mic check and the sound check. I see 67 people in here, man. Appreciate everybody in here, man. Make sure y'all hit them buttons. The crew they got a big show planned. I'm gonna get on there and I'm gonna join in. With
Yeah, I might spend some time in there too. I got a little opportunity
it's
if they allow me to.
so now here's an elephant in the room right here. Is Raheem Morris still the head coach at the end of next Monday morning if we lose to Carolina?
He gotta go. He gotta go. Like when I say I listen, I don't care what nobody say. If you do the overall assessment, if you watch if you watch the Panthers walk in your building, if you finish the season at 8-9 against possibly one of the worst teams in the league, you gotta go. It don't even make it don't even help you none. If now you swept the Bucks, who is pretty much all we all can say going to the postseason. You swept the Bucks, but you split with the Saints, who's porous. And if you end up split with the Panthers, you can't keep your job, dog. You cannot keep your job. I don't care how anybody want to put it. I don't care how folks want to talk about it. You cannot keep your job.
Okay, well, here's the retort or the rebuttal that we've been getting. We were quote unquote patient with Arthur Smith, so we need patient.
All right, and here's my rebuttal to that. I don't heard them same rebuttals, and I'm gonna explain something to people about the Arthur Smith situation. I really want folks to understand when Arthur Smith took the job in Atlanta, you had an aging Matt Ryan who still had some fight in him. He still had some good in him at the time. Your quote unquote star receiver bitched up and bitched out of town. Before the new regime even got in here good, I'm gone. Well, I'm out of there. So you got traded. Then you had no money. We was in Cap Hill. We traded him to get a lot of his money off our books. So we was in Cap Hill. As well as us being in Cap Hill, we had to sign 90. We had to sign a bunch of people to make 90 cap bodies. And as you can say, most of those guys made the final roster. So you can't sit here and say like this is the same situation. Like as he pretty much you came to let's see, year one was setting the foundation. Year one and year two was setting the foundation. Year three was when you start adding the other pieces to the house. Me personally, I would have gave Arthur Smith another season because of the fact that we didn't have good QB play as we were setting the foundation and whatnot. Now, if he finished porous this season, absolutely, your job is gone. You'd have 4 years. This is actually the first. Like if we would have still made all the moves we made this offseason and had the team that we got currently, and Arthur Smith was our head coach and he didn't make the playoffs, he had to lose his job. He absolutely had to lose his job. Because I will say this, after the first year, you had a Matt Ryan, but then year two, you had Mariota. Year three, you had Desmond Ridder and Taylor Heineke. It's like, come on, bro. The man ain't had much to go off of. Like you like when you finally got some establishment, you fired him after the establishment. But in Raheem Morris' case, you came in with a playoff-ready roster. You came in with a playoff-ready roster with don't get me wrong. Did we take some injuries early on? We did, but for the most part, we've been a virtually healthy team. Like a lot of our main key pieces have played. Yet, what are we right now? We're on the brink of elimination, hoping, fighting for our lives. Like that Arthur Smith and Raheem Morris situation is something totally different. I mean, even Jim Moore walked through the door and won to play and made it to the NFC Championship game with the team he had.
Yeah. Yeah.
We went 11-5 and made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. Jim Moore Jr.'s first year as Atlanta Falcons head coach. But you telling me with the squad that we got, we couldn't make the playoffs? Not only that we couldn't make the playoffs, but you also telling me that with the squad, like, if you look at the situation, do you not realize like the stuff that we've done wrong, what he's done wrong as a coach that has pretty much costed us our season? That is that. Listen, people, that you cannot look past that. That's something you just can't look over. That man has made some ill-advised decisions this season that cost us our season. And like I said, you had an opportunity to still save yourself last night. Your defense got a 3-and-out. They got Washington off the field, and you had 30 plus seconds on the clock. First play, you get a big play, 20 plus yard gain to damn near midfield. You got 33 seconds on the clock. Call the timeout. You didn't do that. You let the clock run. If you call the timeout, you can put up a better play, possibly get more yards, and you would have been in Patterson's. We'd have been well in Patterson's field goal range to win the game last night. I would have took him missing or a blocked field goal that lost us the game over the fact that he failed, not over the fact that he missed the field goal because it came up short because your head coach wasn't smart enough to call a damn timeout. Really and truly, he handled the timeout situation horrific twice because he fucked it up in the first half too.
Sure did.
So you watch this man fuck up time management twice in one game. Well, you possibly could have scored a touchdown towards the end of the first half. And you could have listen, if you do that, we're not even having this conversation right now. We're not even having this conversation right now. But we're clearly having it because why? He not using top time management. And I'm here to tell y'all people, the man done did this a couple times this season. I've sat there on certain games. I just didn't say nothing. I've seen certain games. I was like, we going to have time with the timeouts in our pocket. Like, use them. We got the ball. Use them. Try to get something. Try to get something.
All right, we got to get out of here, man. Hey, y'all make sure y'all come back. Get them guys about 10, 15 minutes to get everything done up in here, man. Appreciate you coming on, Travis. Appreciate everybody in the chat, man. 70 strong right now. I gotta be a Saints fan for a week.
I ain't being shit. I wasn't even rooting for the Cowboys the day when they played the Bulls. I ain't rooting for no damn body because it shouldn't even come to this. Mother got mad at me.
I'm just speaking as a typical. I'm speaking as the average Falcon fan. The average Falcon fan got to be a Saints fan on Sunday, and that sucks bad.
I mean, do you really? Do y'all really think the Saints going lay down for y'all though? This is perfect opportunity for them. Do you think the Saints really gonna lay down for the Falcons for them to get the playoffs? I mean, like they gonna. It's an arch rivalry. They thrive at watching you feel. Falcon fans got the print. Falcons got the print on us to get the playoffs. Shit, we finna get embarrassed Sunday. This we all have to make it.
I can see the only thing that may help us is if the guy who's the interim coach right now is auditioning to be the head coach moving forward. Other than that, we're gonna get out of here, man. This was I'm man OG Truth with the 2 Hertz with a Z. That's my man LT. This was the State of the Truth address. Catch me in LT tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we gonna bring it in tomorrow night. We got a big show tomorrow night. We're gonna go right at 9. Maybe a little bit later. We're gonna do the weekend recap. I guess we had to revisit this shit again, and we're gonna Exclusive World of Wrestling. We're gonna give the weekly review.
Yeah, when it comes to that, it'll be our last coverage of Monday Night Raw being on live television. I'm sorry, not live television, but on cable network.
Yeah.
Tonight is the last night of Raw being on cable network.
We're moving to Netflix on the 6th, and we're gonna go all the way into depth about the death of Owen Hart. We always, as always, we seek and speak truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. Appreciate y'all chat. Y'all get ready for the crew at the top of the hour. And we out.
Put your eyes back in your head.